Hey, you right guys, Trade Much is Joe here, and today we are going to be doing the character tier list ranking, not all the characters, but the characters I felt were worthy from All of Us Are Dead Season 1. I finished the season 2 days ago, so it's still fairly fresh in my mind, and my thoughts on characters are still there. They're still in my brain, so I figured this was a good time to rank my characters from my favourite to least favourite. Keep in mind, this is just my personal opinion. Obviously, your rankings are going to be completely different to mine, which is fine. The world will still rotate. It'll still be rotating, even after we probably, most likely, actually, like very likely, disagree on these rankings. But yeah, I've got I think like almost 20 characters that I felt, because there were a lot that I could have gone even more. I think I could have gone to like 30 characters, because there was characters like the General that I've not added, for example, like some characters that popped up for a few scenes, but I could have ranked these characters for like an hour if I really wanted to, but I didn't really feel like doing that. So I've stuck with 20. I think it's like 19 or something, and we'll go through, talk a little bit about the characters. I'm not even going to try and pronounce names, because I've tried before and I've been told, yeah, you're pronouncing it wrong, even though I knew I was, and then I'm just like, yeah, I know, but I'm just a failure. And so I'll name like Prez, main character, Bully. That'll be their names for me, because I've got like a list of their names, but it's like I'm just going to be sat here making a fool of myself trying to pronounce them all. So keep that in mind. I do apologise for it, but it's just, I know I'm not going to pronounce it. I'm not going to pronounce any of these names right, so I'll have my own little names for them. We'll go with that. But yeah, let me know your top 5 characters or something, top 3, whichever, down below, and let's do this. Yeah, here are the characters that I have. You can see them all. I have a little glance over. I don't know who to start with. I'm going to save like the mains for the end, I think. So we'll just go through the side characters. Got best of the best, fantastic, really solid. You're alright, like you're an alright character. You're not too bad, I guess. And then trash. Boo them off stage and get off. No one likes you. And also keep in mind, I keep when I do these rankings, I keep in mind how much the character brought to the table. So I'm going off like a mix of likability and how much they actually brought to the story. So with the Bully, for example, likability, I don't know where I'm going to put him yet, but as an example, likability, he's obviously there. Like, there's no doubt about that. But what he brought to the story and the plot would be higher up. So obviously he would put him somewhere based on that. Like Gus Fring from Breaking Bad, Walter White, I always use as the prime example in these of likability-wise. Walter White especially, he's kind of down here, but he's like one of the greatest TV characters of all time, so Walter White would be there, for example. But his likability would be down. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But let's start off. This guy, I don't even really have a name for him. I guess he was one of the ones who got bit very early on. I think like episode 3 was where she over here was the one who murdered him. I'd say he was alright. I think some of these characters, it would have been nice to get more with them, but the show was so, especially in the earlier episodes, so really wanted to just kill off a lot of the characters, which is fine. It showed how chaotic the situation was for them all. But he was a character that didn't even really need to die. She was just had a big prejudice against him and really hated him. Obviously she tried to redeem herself, which we'll get to in a bit, but I just don't feel like we had enough of him to really be more than alright, you know. What we had of him was really good, but it's a shame. I wish he was one of those few characters I wish we could have got more of, but I'm also not that fussed either. He was the one who got bit in the gym. Like he went out like a boss. I'll give him that. He went out like a boss. As soon as he lost his glasses in one of the episodes, I was like, yeah, you're pretty much doomed to die here. And he also didn't get a bite of the chocolate bar, which was really, really sad. That'll be his name, the guy who didn't get a bite of the chocolate bar. But you know, he had some good scenes. I'd say he was alright as well. I don't think he brought too much to the table, but he did go out well. You know, I liked he got some emotion. He got some emotion out of me, but I wasn't too sad about it. I just don't think he had enough. Maybe he's like really solid. No, I'm gonna keep him there. I'm gonna keep him there because compared to the other characters, he is alright. But yeah, she's like a 50-50 for me. I feel like when she's like being friends with her and she's like really friendly, and I think she can still have that, oh, I'm an arsehole vibe to her, and it worked. But there was some times where she was doing it and it just felt a little bit, you're kind of being annoying at this point. Like she just wanted to hate everyone, which I guess some people are like that, they just want to be against everyone. But when it comes to a TV show, sometimes that doesn't always come across as charming. It did at times, but other times no. So I'm going to put her in solid. I think I'll change that to just solid. I think really solid kind of overhypes them a bit. So, you know, 50-50 for me. I like at both sides. Like I say, when she's being saying like she was a friend and all that stuff, that was all really good stuff. And you can tell like she was genuinely sad when characters like when he died, for example, like she kind of regretted how she acted, but she never really changed how she acted, so it didn't really matter. Like the guy who sacrificed himself, like she was sad when he died, but still was a knock to everyone. So I guess that's her character. Then we have the archer. She was really good. I think her being an archer, you've already kind of won me over anyway, because it's like a sick weapon to have in the apocalypse. But as a character, I wouldn't say she was insanely good, so I'll put her up in fantastic. She was one of the more useful characters I think they had in their squad. Like without her, this whole squad would have died very, very early on. Like she saved their arse a lot of the time. Two of them died anyway, and obviously these two survived in that side squad that we had. And then obviously when they formed up, she was being useful as well. So useful wise, she's very up there, and likability wise, she was pretty good. So I'm assuming people have said that the director said he wants to do a season 2, so I'm hoping we get more of her if we do get that second season. This was the half zombie, half human. That was, you know, earlier episodes, I didn't care for her that much. Like, you know, she was being bullied, which sucked. And then it's end of episode 1, I think it was, where it looked like she was going to kill herself, and that guy was on the roof and talked her out of it. And I think around then she started to, like, when she was destroying all the phones and she'd been bitten, she just kind of like became this badass character. She's like, I'm not taking shit from anyone anymore. Kind of fizzled out at the end as soon as she joined the government side of things in that checkpoint, and she'd bitten the guy, thankfully, who had left her to fend for herself. Once she'd killed him, her character just kind of dead-ended, stopped, which was kind of a shame. I felt like she was a really, really good character, and then she went to that checkpoint around episode 9, 8, 9, and then her storyline just stopped. She was tied up, they were, you know, testing on her, and then we never saw her again. So if they do a season 2, we need more of her, because she would have been here for me, honestly. She would have been on the best of the best, but I'm going to take it down to there, just because she didn't appear in the final few episodes, which was a bit of a shame. We've got my guy, my vlogger. In the episode he was in, if they had more of him, he would have been there. I felt like he would have been such a nice presence of just like this guy who's a YouTuber, who's vlogging the whole thing. It would have brought a bit of comedy. You know, the comedy was really good anyway, but it would have brought a nice side. But he just kind of like her, disappeared all of a sudden, and then he was saved by the detective here and then disappeared again. So I'm going to take him down to there. The scenes he was in, he was great, but I just don't think there was enough of him. And, you know, as a character, we didn't really get to know him too well, but that episode he was in where he's vlogging the whole thing was one of the best moments of the entire show for me. I love that. The detective character, I felt like he was decent. He was a bit by the books of a character, you know, he got on with it. His storyline wasn't the most intriguing. It was just kind of like him trying to get to the laptop. Then he didn't even get to the laptop, and then he told the government about the laptop, and then he was saving people. It was like, okay, it was like a bit of a side mission. It was a bit of a side quest for him. But as a character, he was fine. I'd probably put him up to solid, I think. I think like maybe at the top of solid. Yeah. I wasn't blown away by his character. He was fine. I've also realised I've not put the professor in here, which I probably should have done, because the professor was in it quite a bit. The professor, imagine there's a picture of the professor. He'd have got it all right. He was fine. He died very quickly, so you couldn't really get too attached to his character. Most of his scenes were just in a flashback, or not even a flashback, but then watching his documentation on the laptop. That was most of his character. He was fine. The teacher, I really thought she'd survive at least till later, because when she disappeared to save her, I was like, oh, they'll just be locked in a room or something, and you know they'll get out eventually, which kind of was and then wasn't the case for her. But no, she got bit, saving her, which is a bit of a letdown, because I felt like she was one of them. In the first 3 episodes, she was the one that was my favourite for sure. Then that fizzled out, so I'm going to put her in solid, probably down there. She was good. But again, didn't get much of her. Oh no, this character's trash. Trash, 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 boo, 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 boo. Useless. Annoying. Almost got characters killed. Fell over constantly. Brought nothing to the table. You were shit. Like, she was so crap. The fact she saw her best friend here fall over, and then she had a hand on her shoulder and literally could have just lifted her up and ran, but she just stared at her and stared at her, like wasting more time than it would have been just to pick her up. I know she was scared of the zombies. Everyone's scared of the zombies. I get it. But bro, she bolted and then she died straight after. Karma caught up to her instantly. Instant karma. So yeah, she was trash. We got our main character. I'm going to say we'll save all the mains. Again, likability was here. Then she wanted to redeem herself a little bit, so she kind of went up to here and again, it's not even so much a character, but for me, and I've done this rant in the episode where she died anyway, I felt like she had such potential for a really interesting story that could have been added into that main plot in the later episodes. But no, she died, which I felt like was the one character out of all of them. Every character, I was kind of fine with them dying. Even characters I liked, like the teacher. I was like, you know what? Yeah, sound, she's dead. Him, dead? Yeah, sound, whatever. I felt like they'd served their purpose and they died. That's fine. She was the one where I was like, you just squandered what could have been a really great storyline. I know a lot of people argue like, yeah, but that's the point. Like, they want you to be shocked by the death. I wasn't even shocked by the death. I was just annoyed. I was just like, I'm just annoyed. Like, why have you done that? So she was the one character out of all of them. Even the main character, I was like, he's one of my favourites, but he went out and served a purpose. She went out to serve the purpose that he was hungry. Sure. So I'm going to put her in solid. Yeah, likability wasn't great. She did kill this guy off, which was a bit shit. But she did have potential. So yeah, because she didn't even reach that potential. I think if she reached that potential, it would have been here, but she didn't. So I'll put her in alright. I'm looking at her as a character where I'm looking at a storyline that could have existed and doesn't. So I can't really put her higher than that, unfortunately. Yeah, that was the one big disappointment for me, was what they did with her character. I don't think it needed to happen. Same with this character. His death was absolutely pointless. Absolutely pointless. I felt like they wanted just a big, oh, we need one of these main characters dying in the last episode, and they obviously didn't have anyone that they could, you know, they weren't going to kill our main off here. Like, they weren't going to do that. So he was the weak link. It was between these two, I feel. He got it, and it's because they wanted to stand and fight the zombies. I don't know. He was just another really pointless death, and I'm going to say he was alright. Probably definitely better than him. Not as good as him. I'd say he was alright. A pointless death. He did not need to die whatsoever. He died protecting his sister. It's all well and good, but come on, bro. I'd say all these are main characters now, apart from you. I'm going to put her in trash. Probably above her, because she fell over more than anyone on this list, and I can't. But Joe, the roads were slippy and they were panicking, and they haven't eaten in 4 days. I don't care. You don't fall over when you're running. Come on, bro. Okay, once I'm gonna let it slide, but she fell over like 5 times, twice in one episode. No, I can't. She's trash. And she didn't add anything anyway. She just, you know, spoke sometimes. That was her character. And she turned my guy down. How are you going to turn my guy down? What the fuck? Right, we've got all the really good characters here, I feel. So we'll start with, let's do the bully. Again, likability, he's down here, but he brought a lot to the table. He was a really good villain. I'm glad they killed him off at the end of Season 1. If they brought him in Season 2, it would have been a bit ridiculous. I do feel at times he was kind of overstaying his welcome when he was like climbing the stairs loads. It took him like an entire episode to climb some stairs. And the amount of times they threw him out a window, which I knew was part of it, where he'd come back as well. So there were times where he was starting to drag out, but I don't know. Without him, the show would have been lesser quality than it was. So I'll put him in bottom of fan, probably above him. Yeah, he was a really good character to have in the show. You can't deny that. So, but he's gone now, and thank God. I couldn't have dealt with him if he was in Season 2 as well. you're gonna have to come up with a new villain in season 2 because it can't just be another bully. And then we have this guy, Mr. Charming, Mr. Good Looking, Mr. Everyone fancies me and wants to date me kind of guy. He was really good. All of his fight scenes were solid. You know, he could hold his own in a fight scene, which I respected. He was the one that kind of, not always, but for the most part, came up with a really good plan on how to get out of a situation. When they were being chased, he was on it. I don't think he fell over that much, which was nice. He was on it when they were being chased. So I'm going to put him in fantastic, probably below the bully. You know, he didn't have the biggest personality for me, but I liked his kind of romance with her. So yeah, he's up there. Right, final 4. Let's do the main. Again, I don't really see a main character in this show, but I'd consider him, if we had to pick one, him and her, probably the 2 main characters. I'm going to put him in fantastic, probably below half zombie. Yeah, brought a lot to the table, was very likeable, went out like a boss again. If you go out like a boss, you kind of won me over, and he went out like a boss. Getting his eye gouged out in that second to last episode was brutal. Brutal for him, but you know, him standing over the elevator shaft and having all the zombies fly through and then taking him down with him when he died was a big moment. I really liked him, and I liked his romance with her. It's like part of me wishes he kind of stayed alive because there was so much potential there as well, I feel, with her character, but I guess he wanted to kill off the main character, which is fine, I guess. But yeah, I really liked the character. He brought a lot to the table, which was nice. He was, unlike her, useful. Useless, useful. 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 Useless. I wonder if there's one scene where she was really useful. I might have to go back and try and find that scene. Then we have what I'd consider the big 3. These are the big 3 of the show. We'll start with her. She's best of the best. There was about, I think, like 2 or 3 episodes in a row in the first half where she didn't really do too much because obviously her best friend had died, who I didn't add here because there was no images of her whatsoever on Google, but her best friend died. She was sad about it, so she didn't do too much, but she was likeable. I felt like she brought a lot to the table as well, like a lot of the characters up there. She kind of came up with big plans and knew how to get out of tricky situations. She never felt like a burden for a lot of these characters, and I felt like she had chemistry with him and had chemistry with him a little bit, but not as much as with her, obviously. Yeah, I really liked her, and she was a really good actress as well. I think all of them were really good, but she was probably the best actress, acting-wise, probably her. And her, I'd say, as well. They were all really good, though. Like, even these 2 are, like, really good. No, all of them on this board are really, really solid. These 2 are even good, so... But yeah, she might be the best alongside her, I'd say. Alright, let's do her. Let's put her, obviously, best of the best. I think in the first half, she'd have been down in solid, maybe. Because I did, you know, she kind of annoyed me when she clearly saw this. I'm sorry, I don't care. She clearly saw what she was doing and didn't say anything. Even if she wasn't 100% clear on what she was doing, you'd have said something. Like, come on. She saw her wiping that broomstick with a towel, a cloth or whatever, and then went in to kill him. She saw that. So the first half, not even the first half, maybe just like the first 4 episodes, I wasn't the biggest fan of the character, but then as soon as she got bit and she became aware and like her hearing was all over the place, she was super strong. She became a lot more likeable for me. I like that there's bits where she'd smile and people were like shocked, like, oh my god, she's smiling. It's like, yeah, and yeah, she saved their arse more than once, I think. So I'm gonna put her in best of the best at the top. And you know where my guy's going. You know why I've saved him for last. This guy is the best character of the show. He brought all the best comedy parts were because of him. He was useful, like he was holding that barricade by himself. My boy, he could sing. He had some vocal cords on him. He was like rapping and then he was singing around the campfire, so he brought everyone's spirits up. He had his romance. He had like a crush on our Archer over here. I don't know why she turned him down. He's a beautiful specimen. Look at him in his body armor. Really likable. The most likable character out of all of them for me. But not like you can have a likable character and then they're just kind of annoying or something. It's like they don't really do much. But I felt like he brought so much Like the first few episodes where he's always a bit nervous to kind of leave, and he's like he wanted to help, but he'd always talk himself out of it. And then towards the end, when he's actually helping, like he was the one that's like, you know, I'm done with this. Let's fight these zombies, which was a stupid move because it got him killed. Don't get me wrong, I stand by that, but it just showed kind of how far he'd kind of come since the start. So, yep, he's number one for me. I think she's like technically, these two are technically better characters, but this show would not be half as good as it was if it wasn't for my guy right there. He brought such a great presence to the entire show, and I'm glad they didn't kill him off. I think he's a character that you really need in season 2. Do not kill him off, please. That would be such a shame, because if you kill him off, you have her great, she's pretty good, she's a bit annoying but can be okay, he's decent, but none of them are really funny. None of them bring like the comedy and warm side to the show, which, you know, in a show like this you need from time to time. That's why I felt like more of him would have been nice. So keep him around, please. Do not kill him off. Yeah, there we go. That is my character rankings for All of Us Are Dead. These two are just useless and I didn't like them whatsoever. These were fine. I felt like she could have gone higher up, but they just squashed it too early on. She was just a bit annoying at times. He was fine, just a bit by the books. I don't think he really did much. I felt like there was going to be more to him. Like, I know he told them about the laptop, but they didn't do it. He didn't really tell them much that they didn't already know. So there was that, I guess. She could have had more, but died. Needed more of him. But the scenes he was in were great. He was really cool. Show wouldn't be the same without him. She was a badass. He was a badass. She was a badass. She was a badass. I could technically put her up there. She could be there, but she just disappeared. She just disappeared, which is such a shame. Please have more of her in season 2. And then these three were just awesome. Really enjoyed these 3 characters. So yeah, there we go, guys. That's my character rankings. Let me know your top 3 or top 5 who you put in best of the best. I know I'm gonna probably get shit on for these 2 at the bottom, but I'm sorry. Especially her. You cannot defend her. Her, maybe. Okay, she could go up there, probably, but not for me. Her, there is no way, bro. Bro, come on, she's trash. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought of this list and ranking. Do you agree with it? Do you not agree with it? And yeah, I guess I'll see you for season 2, episode 1. I will have another Korean drama coming soon. I think the show My Name I'm looking at the moment, but there are a few others in there that I'm like Hellbound. There are a few others that people have recommended that I might consider, but I'm not going to do it in Feb. I'm probably going to wait until March till I jump on the next Korean show, because I want to delve into more. There's so much fun to watch, and like I say, the one My Name is only 8 episodes long, so I'm not going to jump into any that are super long. I just want it to be kind of short like this one was. Yeah, anyway, guys, take care.